This is Can of Worms coming to you live in 2013. Massive show tonight. 3 huge guests, Arch Barker, Colin Hay and the divine Rebel Wilson. Strap yourself in, Australia. It's going to be a thrilling ride. Welcome to a big Can of Worms. I'm Chrissy Swan. I was her last week and I am her this week as well. What a week it's been. So many curly questions, like if Nick Xenophon could be deported from Malaysia just for being a politician, can't we deport Tony and Julia and call the whole election off? Is it okay for the Pope to retire to spend more time with the kids? Let's meet our 3 guests, shall we? First, a respected songwriter, qualified kangaroo impersonator, and the man responsible for the real national anthem. These days, he's singing to a whole new generation of fans after a cheeky appearance on Scrubs.
I can't get to sleep.
Oh, me neither. OMG, it's Colin Hay! Also along for the ride, one of the world's top stand-up comedians. Born in America, he's a part-time Aussie famous for hanging out with New Zealanders, people like Jermaine and Brett.
They usually wear clothes from the 70s.
They're not from the 70s, they're from New Zealand.
Isn't that the same thing?
Now that is acting, Daniel Day-Lewis. A big hand for Arch Barker. And finally, she's a local girl made good, a Hollywood hotshot who swapped her Aussie cozzy for global stardom in Bridesmaids.
It's a Mexican drinking worm. It's like a Native American symbol, meaning wasted.
Okay, Bryn, just so you know, it's...
Fine.
Oh, we love her so much. Raise your glass to Rebel Wilson. Now, Rebel, we are so delighted to have you. You are fresh off the plane from LA.
Thanks so much for just showing a clip that included my butt crack and a different clip that included pubic hair. Yeah.
That's all right. My favourite part of that was the flubbiters, I call them.
Oh, yeah.
The flubbitters, get them out, lady. Now, you are sharing a house in LA with Little Britain's Matt Lucas.
That's
How's
right,
the division of labour there?
Basically, we both do nothing and have a Mexican housekeeper. It's a really good system.
I love it. Colin, you are touring the country. Do you have a little guilty pleasure that you like to indulge in when you're touring?
Not really. Well, maybe I do like to watch. I like to watch Steven Seagal movies late at night.
Hey, he looks different lately, doesn't he? Have you Google imaged him?
No.
He looks not
right.
I
like his early work.
You watch. The Google image search for Steven Seagal is going to go through the roof tonight. Arj, you're also on the road all the time. Most of the time it seems like you're here in Australia. What's your guilty pleasure?
Well, I'm not trying to be shocking or anything, but I quite enjoy having diarrhea. I mean,
It's
well,
excellent
I know.
for weight loss.
I mean, it's just kind of easy and it's not that bad.
Why isn't it that bad? I mean, most people don't like it.
Well, that's what I don't understand, because the so-called healthy movement, it's like a lot of work. You know, you're going to get your whole upper body into it, and with that, it's just like, boom, 18 seconds, I'm back.
You're not going to get any arguments here. I love it because it's 3 kilos gone. It's the easiest way. All right, beautiful panel. It is can opener time. You're all new to the show. You've never been on before, so this is where we throw you a story. It's happened this week. You tell us if it's perfectly fine or seriously wrong, all right? Yeah. So you know the phrase, I could eat a horse. I could eat a horse and chase the jockey, etc. Apparently the English don't want to eat horse anymore. They're currently freaking out about horse meat turning up in their frozen beef lasagnas. Now, personally, I don't see the problem. Horses are big, they eat grass, they live in the paddock. They're just faster cows. Rebel, eating horse meat, perfectly fine or seriously wrong?
I feel like that I could do a campaign for eating horse meat. Yeah. And just be like, this is so delicious. No. I don't think I would
eat horse meat. If that was the ad, I would do it.
Yeah, I could entice people, maybe. No, but really, like, horses are like cute little ponies and stuff. Why would you want to eat them?
I've just thought of an idea here, because my background is in advertising. With your songwriting chops, Colin, and your performing chops, horse chops, maybe you could come up with a horse meat jingle together, or is that just putting you on the spot?
Yeah, it's on the spot.
Rebel meat.
When I'm hungry, I eat horse meat. It could be something like that.
It could be something like that.
Cohen, would you eat horse meat?
Well, I probably would. I've never tried it, you know, but
well,
I mean, I think the problem is that if you think you're not eating horse meat and you are eating horse meat, you know, it's a bit of a problem. But it sounds to me a bit like another example of, you know, corporate trickery where they're just kind of trying to put the horse meat in the burgers and not tell you, you know.
Damn,
but it's hard to make an argument for kind of eating any animals, really, you know. But I mean, people do, you know. It's a difficult thing, you know.
Well, you've probably eaten, and aren't you as well, have probably eaten more animal than you think. There's a stat where we've done a little graphic that'll explain it for you. It's about the Aussie meat pie that we've all enjoyed. It involves things like
Gristle.
worse than that, my friend. Camel, goats, all sorts, all chucked in there. Only 25% of the ingredients have to be actually meat-based in a pie. That's legal. So, do you feel like a pie?
What is the rest of it?
Who would know? They don't specify what the 75% is.
I think pigeon feet go into it. Yeah.
Eating horse.
I think it's okay. I personally wouldn't probably want to, but I think it comes down to a multiple standard because, you know, any animal, if you associate with it, you wouldn't want to eat it. You know, if you, I don't know if anyone here has ever made friends with a chicken, but
exactly.
It's like chickens are really cute animals that follow you around. They have personalities. I eat chicken like 40 times a day, but I don't make friends with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What is the weirdest thing you've eaten, knowingly?
Well, I didn't really eat it, but one time I accidentally brushed my teeth with extra strength muscle relaxant because it was in the same, the tube looked so much like toothpaste, it was right next to that, and I was like, geez, this tastes a little mentholyptic, you know. It was like, we call it Bengay in the States, but
like Denko or something here,
yeah, and it was, but I thought I was going to die. It said if you eat this, you have to go to the hospital, and so I went to my show because I didn't want to cancel the show, basically just waiting to die.
Rebel, I follow you on Twitter, and you posted a photo of something you ate.
Okay. I was filming in America last week, and someone brought me as a gift a can of unicorn meat.
Unicorn meat?
And then on the side, it said 100% of your daily intake of sparkles. And I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah, and I'm like, what is this? So I opened it up, because there was something inside, and it was like someone had got a little unicorn and, like, ripped it up and put blood on it and stuffed it into this can.
Oh my God, kids, go to bed. Go to bed. We've got to get to an ad. We've got to get to an ad, sadly. But we'll be back with loads more from these gorgeous people in just a sec.
You know, some...
Welcome back. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but a name can really ruin your day. Wog, chink, fag, fatso, loser. Hang on, I've had all of those except maybe chink. It's just a few of the many labels that divide us, and frankly, some of them offend. In fact, some of these words are considered so inappropriate in polite society or so hateful, they're actually against the law. I wonder if I just broke the law then. Did somebody check?
Yeah.
Tonight, I want to talk about another word, a word that many people think is perfectly fine and others believe is just seriously wrong. Grab those yes-nos, my friends, and answer me this.
Okay.
Is it an insult to call someone a bogan?
Where are they?
Something's about to happen. It's making me very nervous. You know we are live, Rebel Wilson. Let me check. Can I have a look first before
I just have to give my honest answer. Okay, are we ready to reveal?
Ready to go. I can't wait.
Ready, and...
Reveal. Quickly, put them away.
Yeah,
Put them away, you naughty, naughty girl. Now, you had a show called Bogan Pride. Did you ever think that maybe you would insult people with this name?
No, because I feel like I'm like the biggest bogan ever. So I've just kind of reclaimed the word. So it can't be offensive if people call me a bogan, because like, I love it.
But what makes you a bogan? Not too many bogans have done lure up.
Feralness is a big part of it. Often I don't like to shave above the knee, so...
I think there's a lot of bogans in this audience there, that's okay.
I mean, bad fashion sense is a key part of being a bogan. I mean, someone did pick out this kind of all-right dress.
Yeah.
But my usual get-up is like tracksuits, ill-fitting sportswear, that kind of thing. I like to dress for comfort. And also just a general lack of class, which I do have.
Now, Colin Hay, your song, Land Down Under...
Bit bogan, you think?
Well, apparently, look, I'm not saying this, but apparently it's the bogan anthem, mainly because it rhymes chunder with thunder.
Yeah, it's a bit...
At some point. Is that offensive to you?
What does it... No, I don't think it does rhyme that. I think it's...
Oh, no, it's plunder. It's chunder and plunder. Yeah, women...
Thunder, I think.
No, women...
Chrissy, I think he would know.
That was the first one I
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
We'll have to roll the tape back on that one.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a bit of bogan in all of us, really.
Yeah.
You know, my wife calls me a bogan in Espanol. She calls me a cholo escocés, which cholo is the same as a bogan, really, a Scottish bogan, you know. But I've got a soft spot for bogans, I must admit. And I mean, I think it's... I think some people would get offended, maybe older people, if you actually called them a bogan, because they don't associate with being a bogan, perhaps, you know. But then some people claim it. It's like being in a gang or something, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people think that the mullet that they've got is not bogan and it's pretty styling. You know what I mean?
Now, Arj, you didn't grow up in Australia, so
Correct.
presumably you didn't know too many bogans growing up. And you think it is insulting to be called a bogan?
Well,
What's a bogan to you?
I have to just add a caveat. I think it could be. It depends on the context.
Yeah.
It could be perceived as classist, depending who's saying it to the person, and so I think it depends on how you say it. If you say, "Get away from me, you bogan," then yeah, you might get knifed. But on the other hand, if you say, "Hey, give me another Bundy and Coke, you bogan son of a bitch," you'll still get knifed, but in a more playful manner.
Did it take you a while to get used to the nuance of, you know, good bogan, bad bogan?
Well, being that I'm a visitor, I do try to be respectful. I don't use the term myself, because I might make the mistake or not use it right.
It doesn't sound right either with the American accent, don't you think? Like, say bogan.
Okay. Hey, you bogan.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very good with a Scottish accent either. It's a bogan. You know,
it's actually not bad with yours.
I was saved by a bogan when I was doing a show.
A bogan saved your life?
Yes, he did. And I was playing this show, and it was a crowd like this, and then this bus full of football supporters arrived, and they were really hammered. And one got on the stage. I turned around, he was standing, he goes, "Oh, I want to sing the North Albury football song." and then I just turned around. I didn't know what to do. He was a big guy, and I thought, oh, and then all of a sudden this woman appeared, and she had moccasins on, stretched jeans, and a singlet, and she just said, "Aye," and I was just standing there, and she goes, "Well, I didn't come here to hear no football song. I'll come and hear him sing, so get off the stage, you dickhead." So, I have to save my life.
You know, the female bogan is a thing of rare beauty, really. Yeah. Now, there is a website called Things Bogans Like, and it's spawned a book as well here, featuring, oddly, Richard Wilkins and Andre Rieu on the cover. And also this one, Boganomics, with a giant burger on the front. Rebel, if you were featured in these, I don't know if you are, would you be offended?
I think that, there's one picture with me with my top off. No, there's not. No, I like it. I think that kind of stuff's funny. Yeah. And I hope it, goes through all the elements of being bogan and stuff. I like freeloading. That's a big bogan quality.
I like it. I like it. Now, Arj, I want to show you a picture of Julia Gillard, who she is our Prime Minister, and she once referred to herself as a Kath and Kim-voiced, footy-loving, Ugg boot wearing bogan. And we put it together there.
And that's our Prime Minister.
That's our Prime Minister. Now, if she can use the word, can't we all?
I suppose. I mean, no, I'm not changing my answer. Come on. That's just for me personally. Like, I would be a little careful to throw it around because, you know, I'm from America, so for me, for the first 10 years of visiting Australia, I thought bogans were people with no emotions who were really logical. You know what I mean? But
that's a great description.
That's a good joke. It's also a good joke, but nobody here got it.
I got it.
Anyway, I think it's just up to the person. You know, it's up to you to decide.
Is there an equivalent in America?
Maybe, you know, we use the term white trash is thrown around a lot.
If you are white trash, can you say, I'm so white trash?
Yeah, people do that too, and they would celebrate it.
Do people use it with irony like we do with the word bogan? Like,
what's irony?
Well, you know, like someone really loaded, but still, or someone really powerful like Julia Gillard, we just say, yeah, she's a bogan. She's just like all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they do. I mean, it's a playful thing for the most part, but you could also offend somebody because it has racial implications too and that. So I don't know. I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
So glad we got you on the show. Dan Illick, is it okay to call someone a bogan? What's the vibe online?
Well, Chrissy, a lot of people on Facebook are saying that only a bogan can call another bogan a bogan, but there was this from a concerned mother. She writes, I would never call my kids a bogan. I just call them Taquina, Shaynina and Dakota Ray. So it's a big thank you to Tarana Monaro for that comment.
If you haven't had your say, get onto Z-Box and Facebook and give us a yeah or a nah. Up next, ever told someone they suck at kissing face? Something tells me the moral minefield is approaching. Live, we've been asking, is it insulting to call someone a bogan? Well, guess what? 73% of yous said nah. And 73% of yous also love my footwear tonight. Now, the game that redefines the phrase too much information, it is the moral minefield. We love this here. Pick a topic from the board of truth, give us an answer, and try not to blush. Let's see how many we can get through in the time allocated. Ms. Wilson,
you can have money in this segment.
Oh, I'm sorry you don't.
Oh, there's no cash prize.
I can lock you in one of those booths with cash later if you want. Have a pick.
All right. I'll go with race.
All right, race it is. Is it offensive, Rebel, to put on a Chinese accent?
Oh, no, I don't think it is very offensive. You know, like when you get manicure, pedicure, you're just like, you want the gels? You want the, you know.
See, I feel quite uncomfortable about it. Does anybody else feel uncomfortable? No one feels uncomfortable.
Can I just say that I've just been filming a pilot in America, and in one scene I talked to an Asian girl in it. And I started talking to her in an Asian accent just because I thought that was amusing. And the American standards went, that's racist. And they said, it's really racist. I said, no, it's not racist. It's fine. What do you mean?
Colin, do you think it's racist to put on a Chinese accent?
Well, a Chinese accent, I think it all depends on context. You know, if you're doing it to demean and demoralize somebody, and it probably is, but if you're doing it for comedy effect, well, it works, you know. If it's you know, if it's funny like Rebel just did, then it was funny, which is really terrific. If it's not funny, then it's offensive, probably.
Yeah.
Which is even the greater crime. But, you know, it's the accents. I mean, is it offensive to talk like an Australian? Is that offensive?
Well, that's the thing. That's right. Or an American? Is it offensive to put on an American accent?
No. I'm not. I do it all the time.
Do you think it's offensive, like, because Rebel said in America...
Well, again, I think it's context. Yeah. I think if someone like an actress, a real actress like Rebel does it and does a realistic one, that's one thing. But I think on the other hand, if you do it way over the top and you go, oh my China, then I think that's offensive. But the most offensive of all is to do a Chinese bogan, because that's a, oh, me like Holden. Like, that's not good at all.
I love it. For that, Arj Barker, you get a crack at the moral minefield. What are you going to choose?
Sex.
Yeah!
Oh, wait, I wasn't answering. I was just thinking out loud.
I've heard about you, Arj Barker. Hey, Gary Ward from Facebook wants to know, is it wrong to think about someone who's not your partner while you're having sex?
No, because I don't think it's wrong, because, we have free thought. That's one of the things about being human. You should be able to think whatever you want. But I think it's fair. I think it's okay as long as you think about your partner while you're having sex with a stranger. I'm not fair to make it fair.
Even Stevens.
Yeah.
Rebel, what do you reckon?
I think Gary likes to ask things on the internet about sex, and maybe we should look into Gary.
Yeah, I think this question is more about Gary from Facebook asking for permission than anything else. Colin, do you think this is wrong?
No.
Categorically no.
No.
Yeah.
I think your mind wanders.
Where does it wander, though? Does it always
Wherever
wander?
it goes, I have no. Who has control over it?
Yeah.
Isn't that a problem, though, like structurally? Because what if you, for a man and a woman, things need to be happening, and what if you go, oh, I've got to get those towels on eBay?
I think
you should focus. Really, I do. I think you should focus. You should be in the present moment. But things happen.
Speaking of that, I think your mind wanders where it needs to go to get the job done.
I love it.
And I was just going to say, I think of Channing Tatum all the time, like
All the time.
23 hours of the day, so not just in the bedroom, like.
But you're fair. You're like an equal opportunity employer.
Yeah.
Colin Hay, your turn at the board.
Etiquette.
Ashikosh. Amy Vernon, also on Facebook, wants to know, would you let a stranger know that their fly was undone?
Well, probably not, unless his willy was showing.
Isn't it disconcerting when you see that sometimes? One time on a bus, an old guy was sitting there and his testicles were coming out of his shorts. And they were sitting on there. I wanted to say, I hope you bought a ticket, you two. They were sitting right on the chair.
Yeah, well, I think it's different if there's flesh involved.
Yeah. River, would you say something?
Yeah, well, if there's flesh or pubes, I'd sort of say something, because,
How would you say it? Just say my fly was undone. You could see things.
I just go, oh my God, what is that small thing? No, I don't know what I'd say. But I think if you're friends with someone, you should point it out. Yeah.
There's going to be headlines about me being a hermaphrodite tomorrow. Arj Barker, what would you say?
Well, I definitely wouldn't say anything, because then they would feel embarrassed and humiliated, and I wouldn't want to do that. So what I would do, I would say, what's that? Is that a UFO up there? Oh my God, it's a UFO. And they'd look up and I'd go,
You just
I do it for them. Just
take care of business yourself. Hey, I've forgotten whose turn it is now. It's yours again, Rebel.
Oh, yeah, I'll pick. Yeah. Mouthing off.
Mouthing off.
Let's go in.
All right, let's do it. Rebel Wilson.
Yeah.
With your magnificent mane, is it okay to tell blonde jokes?
Okay, so if it's an awesome blonde joke, like, why was a blonde staring at the orange juice?
Why?
Because it said concentrate. That's fine. That's okay.
That's so great.
But what if it was like a really offensive blonde joke, like, what do you get the blonde who's done everything? An abortion. So that's too much. Because that's implying she's a slut. And it's probably accurate, but it could be offensive.
Rebel, you are blonde.
Yeah.
Do any of these offend you?
Well, no. I mean, I tell you what I do like though, ranger jokes.
No, we don't like ranger jokes. This is a ranger joke-free zone.
Oh, after Sorry Ranger Day, it's all off for rangers.
Arj Barker, you are the king of jokes and comedy.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
I never said that, but...
Are they funny? Is it okay to tell them?
To me, it seems like a little bit of a dated thing. It's like, I don't know, I think like in the 80s or whatever, it was pretty kind of funny, but now it's sort of like, I mean, I think you just pick a group of people and you make it about them. So it's a generalization, and I hate all generalizations. Like, every generalization is horrible.
You see what you did there? You hate all generalisations.
That's correct.
Colin Hay, is it okay to tell blonde jokes?
Well, I agree with both Arj and Rebel. You know, she's extremely funny, and they're funny jokes. And like you say, I just have this picture of a guy standing around who's been in a coma for about 20 years, and he's going, "Hey, you," and telling blonde jokes. You know, so it's a bit it's not that funny anymore.
I think it's funny if you're blonde and you're telling them.
Those jokes are funny, but I just think you could take blonde and you can make it, you know, whatever you want. Pick a group, you know, whether maybe you can't do a Pollock joke anymore because that's not cool. So you make blonde. It's a safe group to pick on, and then they also have the reputation of having more fun. So it's like, kind of.
That's right.
Hey, did I just get a thing? We are out of time. Damn, I wanted to really get to one of them. If you've got moral minefield questions of your very own, head to Facebook now and hand them over. We love your suggestions, especially yours, Gary, from Facebook. After that intense minefield experience, we might need a little something to take the edge off. Next, Can of Worms takes drugs. What? No, we take on drugs. Sorry. All will be explained when we return. Time for our big worm now. Now, over 7 million Aussies, 7 million have smoked dope. Look, I do that like I've actually done it. I've actually never done it. According to the National Drug Survey, now every weekend, you won't believe this, more than 100,000 ecstasy pills disappear down our throats. Ooh, ooh. On top of that, last year the UN listed Australians as the world's biggest recreational drug users. Finally, we're good at something, Give us a hand. So, here is a topic that really divides people. Get your yes-nos out. Should party drugs like marijuana, ecstasy and cocaine be legal? What do we got? Reveal it. A no, a yes, and Colin Hay.
Well, I've been in Australia for a while, so I'm going to go, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah. If you had to pick one, which one?
I would, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, we've got a yes, and a no. Let's go to you first, Rebel, as the odd one out.
I'm probably going to start with my strongest argument first. This is a serious topic, drugs.
It's a really serious topic.
Serious. All right.
Let's do it.
Firstly, drug dealers don't want it to become legal because then they become less cool. If it was legalised, they'd become the equivalent of like an accountant or like a fruit shop seller.
So you're on the side of the drug dealer? You're for drug dealers?
I just want to protect drug dealers' image as being badass and criminals. So, yeah, I mean, I have other arguments too.
What about this one? Should we just accept that for some people, drugs are harmless and just get on with it?
I don't think drugs are harmless. I think the facts are that they mess with you. And, yeah, you'll see some druggo going, no, it's got no negative side effects. I'm not at all affected. I'm totally fine. Give me the keys. Like,
the stats are, though...
Really?
Yeah, 90% of recreational drug users have absolutely no bad side effects whatsoever. It's only 10% that are the problem.
Well, okay, 90% is a high number. Okay, but what drugs are we talking about in party drugs?
Marijuana.
Yeah.
Ecstasy, cocaine.
Okay. So
something
on a
for each price point there,
level,
I believe.
They are more in the family of heroin and crack.
Right.
Because there's recreational drugs that are okay, that I think maybe that statistic's from, which is alcohol and caffeine and nicotine. They have proven to have no effects. But I think marijuana, ecstasy and cocaine do actually have effects.
Let's move on to Colin and Arj, who are yeses, controversial, very forward thinking.
You think so?
Yeah, if we legalise them, aren't we just going fill your boots, go crazy, have as much as you like?
Well, you don't really know that, because the problem is that if you're talking about legalizing something, it's like if you want to go back to the 20s and talk about prohibition, well, if people, drugs are products. People want drugs, so they're going to get drugs whether they're legal or not. So you could help a lot by legalizing drugs. The government could probably get rid of the budget deficit, for one thing.
This is true.
And you could possibly build some schools and then teach children about the dangers of drugs.
It does sound funny that we could just solve all our economical problems.
Well,
but you don't know.
I think that's a bit of a druggy idea, though, to be honest. Because you think, well, the government might get money because they might tax the drugs and that'll give them income.
Right.
But in reality, there's going to be so many health and social issues that
Well,
they'll
that's
have
right.
to spend the money on.
Well,
there really won't be any
Well, they
windfall.
don't know that, but there could be. You don't know about what the damage to society would be, whether that would be worse than, say, the benefits of, say, legalizing it, or, for example, there's lots of, you could say that there's going to be, there possibly or probably would be a lot less crime involved if you legalized drugs, because there's a lot of, drug users who would no longer have to commit crimes to get drugs.
Yeah,
but then, you think, like your question was, okay, if people use a lot more drugs, is the cost going to be more more hospitalizations and more deaths due to drugs? We don't really know that. But the question really you asked was about, should they be legal? I think on balance, it would make sense to legalize it. That's just what I think. I don't really think that, I think it's a really, it is a controversial subject, and it is quite serious, and I think that the problem really is that people don't really talk about in Australia, or anywhere for that matter, is the problem of addiction from a young age. You're growing up in this drug society, or people drink. There is a double standard. You're allowed to drink, you're allowed to smoke yourself to death, but if you want to get high, suddenly you're a criminal.
That's right.
That is a double standard.
But speaking of addicts, you're a yes.
I would take it from there. I mean, it's amazing that they'll say this is illegal, you can't do this, but some of the chemicals in Diet Coke, are proven to cause, disease. They're very dangerous chemicals that in small amounts are allowed. We're constantly exposed to all kinds of chemicals and other rubbish. Alcohol kills thousands of people. Just junk food alone kills way more people than ecstasy ever has. Plus, all three of these drugs have legitimate uses. Ecstasy was used in clinical to help couples reconciliate for therapy. Cocaine was used.
It was.
Cocaine, that was MDMA. Look it up. Cocaine was used for people that were having trouble talking a load of shit. Take that. California legalized marijuana for medicine over 10 years ago. I remember that day. I was, I felt sick. I was sick with worry. I didn't know what to say to my doctor. I'm like, I don't know, doc. Lately I've been feeling focused and clear-headed. I set my car keys down, and 5 minutes later, I know exactly where they are. Is there anything?
I love it. Now, Roy Morgan has been asking around in the quiet, oi, should party drugs be legal? The response, 80% of Australians said, no way, they're with you, Rebel, no way. I think the guys are making great points. Dan, what are our Facebook friends saying?
Well, Chrissy, when it comes to legalising party drugs, Nina Oyama has a good point on Facebook. She writes, why would you take away the criminal element from drugs? Half the fun of picking up drugs is the fear of getting stabbed and rolled by your dealer in a side alleyway. Thanks, Nina. Stay safe.
Look, Colin and Arj made some great points. Has this discussion changed your mind? Jump on Zbox and Facebook and vote in our live poll right now. After the break, we'll go to the studio audience for their views as well. Live tonight. We've been asking everyone who's not a narc, preferably, should party drugs be legal? We've got a yes, and a no here. Now, anyone along here feel like changing their vote?
Well, I just want to say that, I mean, calling them party drugs makes it sound like such a frivolous topic, but my thing is, Chrissy, is like, the government shouldn't tell you how to live your life. Once you're an adult, you should be able to make your own decisions. And they shouldn't say, you can't do this, but yeah, you can do that all you want. And they make the moral decisions for us. And that, to me, it's all just about...
What about, except for murder? I think it's fairly, it's all right. I think it's okay that we don't kill each other.
The government does some good things.
But if you just...
Let's go to the audience, shall we? Karen Redpath is a mum of 3 and an ex-addict. Hi, Karen. How are you, my dolls?
Hi, Chrissy.
Now, back when you were on drugs, you said you wished that you'd been arrested.
Well, that's not exactly the words that I said, but what I believe is that when people are busted and sent through the criminal justice system, they can often get directed towards a diversion program, counselling, rehab, whatever, and it can turn their lives around. And I just think that perhaps if that had happened in my case, I may not have gone through the suffering that I did because of my drug use,
If so you're a no, that you think it should remain illegal?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons, yeah.
What are some other reasons?
Well, just one of the really basic ones is that there's a lot of people out there that don't use drugs simply because they're illegal, and we legalise them, and over the years that number will increase. You know, we're talking young people whose brains are probably not fully matured, and they see this is legal, it must be okay. And, you know, when you mentioned only 10% of party drug users have problems, that's a lot of people, and they have a lot of families and loved ones and friends who suffer because of that. So
I think they say that about 30% of the population will not do illegal drugs simply because it's against the law, and I definitely fall into that catery. I've never even smoked a joint. I'm square.
To find a middle ground and just make it illegal for that 10%?
You don't know if it's going to happen to you.
But I was going to say, Chrissy, when I first moved to America, I lived in Venice Beach in California, where marijuana is legal. And, well, by the state, not by the federal government. But so they've set up all marijuana shops.
The pharmacy.
It is disgusting. Like it is, and if you go online and look at like crackheads in Venice Beach and stuff, you can just see what it does to the people and the whole community, and it's really filthy, like it is. And people think, oh yeah, it's so cool, drugs are illegal here, but it's really, really bad for the community. And when you see it firsthand.
Yeah, just pot that's legal. I lived in Venice for 5 years, and I wouldn't say it was
I wonder why.
It's not hard to get pot. You can get pot just about anywhere in the world. You know, it being illegal hasn't really stopped that from being available. But I think Venice is just a little bit dirty. Actually, I don't think the pot shops made much difference.
But making it legal makes it much more accessible and available to people that wouldn't otherwise get into it.
Well, they've had that experiment in Holland, and you know, it's been legal there for a while. And I think the statistics say that drug use has not increased any. You can get it there in coffee shops, but there hasn't been a rising epidemic of further pot use because it's legal.
All the the police force, everyone's talking about this war of drugs and waging a war on drugs.
Yeah, well, that's just rubbish.
Well, you're right. It's failing. It's failing really
I don't think
badly.
there is a war. It's just everyone's complicit in the drug trade right up to the top.
Right.
You know, so
that's a whole other can of worms.
They tell you there's a war on drugs, but it's not really.
Don't you think that, Rebel, that we've got to do something else? We've got to change tax somehow.
Yeah,
80%
I mean,
of Australians,
legalising
70%.
drugs is not going to do anything good for the country. And I don't like, when you see it in other countries, I don't want Australia turning like that. And I just... Now I feel like I'm on drugs.
Let's do a hypothetical, all right? Imagine this. Riddle me this.
Okay.
You have got a 16-year-old daughter. It's Friday night, and she's got two options to go to. One is a party at home where there's going to be lots of dope, and two is a party at a pub where there's going to be lots of booze. She's underage / illegal for both. Yeah. She's going to go to one. Which one? We've got 1 minute.
Yeah, I'd say the alcohol option.
Yeah, booze?
Yeah.
Write herself off.
Yeah.
Round of applause for that. Colin Hay, what would you choose?
What would I choose
for your daughter?
For my daughter? Oh, it can't be neither, right?
Can't be neither. You're getting help from the audience, which is very good.
Well, you know, so the choice is what? Letting her go to a pub if she's underage?
Yep,
No,
and having some booze. Going to a party at home and having some...
Well, I wouldn't let her do that either.
God, you're hard. Arj, what would you do?
Well, I mean, it's a tough choice. It's not a fun choice. Neither of them are going to make you happy, but I'd say the party with the weed because, you know, she's going to go there, she's going to get stoned, everyone's going to get quiet and fall asleep. And at the pub, you know, there's predatory drunk people walking around. It's a lot scarier. I think a lot more dangerous of an environment. I know people that smoke pot.
Perfect. You've sold us all. Now, what do you reckon? You've still got time to vote in our poll at ZBox and Facebook. We'll bring you the result and watch Dan Ilic steal stuff from work next. Drugs for Arj Barker, please. Should party drugs be legal? Now, according to our ZBox and Facebook poll, behave yourselves, you naughty people. ZBox and Facebook poll, 73% of you say no still. Now, one of the delights of working on this show is the audience worm suggestions from you. Now, this year, we have decided to send the gorgeous, magnificent, sort of rodent-like Dan Ilic out to track down some answers.
Sarah Wickham asks us, is it okay to steal toilet paper from work? Absolutely. You should try and steal everything you can. What's a rove? Oh, love this show. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that. No, just get that there.
Making news this hour on 10. Incredible scenes outside a Sydney court as 10 men with alleged bikie links have been arrested over the shooting of 2 German tourists in Phuket. Expected showers in the afternoon and Darwin a top of 33 and afternoon thunderstorms. And that's the latest from the newsroom. Thanks for your company. I'm Natasha Belling. Hope you can join us tomorrow again for 10 News. We'll see you there. Thanks for your company.
Harsh Belling. See that gorgeous little bottom on your shoulder. What else did you steal from work, Dan?
Well, I actually happened to steal Charlie Pickering's old hairstyle, which is great. If you want me to investigate your worm, hit us up on Facebook. We are Can of Worms TV.
Speaking of Facebook, some of you have already wormed your way into the show with a couple of questions. Here's one. Is it okay to put your stuff in someone else's bin? Quick, Rebel Wilson, is it?
Yeah, unless it's body parts.
Okay, excellent. Keep them coming, and we're going to play with those. Now, that is all for tonight, sadly. Please thank our gorgeous guests. I know, Arj Barker, Colin Hay and Rebel Wilson. Now, Rebel is co-hosting the project tomorrow night at 6:30, so don't miss that. And Arj and Colin are touring the nation. In fact, Colin's just announced a Sydney Opera House show. How fancy. Check our website and Facebook page for details of both. Next week, the fabulous Bryn Edelstein live here. Fashionista Alex Perry with the sunglasses on his head and gorgeous funny man Limo. Australia, we really do need to talk, and next Monday we'll do it all again. We've had so much fun. We'll see you there.